Paul and Barnabas did not fall out because one was carnal and the other was spiritual. They separated because discernment does not always mature at the same pace, even among trusted leaders. Acts 15 records a sharp disagreement, not a scandal. The scripture is careful with its language. It tells us there was contention, but it refuses to give us slander. There is no record of either man questioning the other's calling, motives, or integrity. They spoke to one another directly, made a decision, and went their separate ways. The church was not invited into their tension. The mission was not paused. The witness was not damaged. The Greek word used for their disagreement is paroxysmos. It describes an intense provocation, a strong emotional and mental clash. This was not passive tension or silent resentment. There was fundamental disagreement between real leaders carrying real responsibility. Yet, even in that intensity, restraint governed their conduct. That restraint is the mark of spiritual maturity. Paul's resistance was not rooted in bitterness toward John Mark. It was rooted in concern over readiness and reliability. Barnabas's insistence was not rebellion. It was discernment shaped by restoration and development. The issue was not morality, it was timing. God did not demand uniform agreement. He required honorable separation. The text never shows Paul or Barnabas recruiting allies, forming camps, or narrating the conflict to others. There was no attempt to win public opinion. They did not turn disagreement into division by turning private discernment into a public spectacle. They parted ways quietly, and the work of God expanded instead of collapsing. Two mission streams emerged, replacing one that had existed before. Time later reveals the fruit. Paul eventually calls for John Mark and names him profitable for ministry. That tells us the disagreement did not poison the future. It also tells us the conflict was never about rejection. It was about leadership judgment under pressure. This is what God expects. Disagree without defaming. Separate without sabotaging. Leave without rewriting someone's character. God permits disagreement among believers, even senior leaders, but he forbids damage to the witness. Conflict handled in restraint becomes redirection. Conflict handled in trauma becomes destruction. Paul and Barnabas show us that unity is not sameness and maturity is not silence. Maturity is knowing how to disagree without becoming dangerous.